This is my home command centre. So it's located by the kitchen. This is the kitchen here. The living room is behind me, and the conservatory and the dining room is through there. So the command centre is like right in the centre, and that's my office space where I journal and work and all that sort of things. So if we come over, at the moment it's in a total mess, and the calendar is still set to April. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this whole area a tidy up, and I'm going to update the calendar, and I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. So I've given it a bit of a tidy up. I thought I would walk you through what I've actually got. Now this is my home command centre, as I said previously. So the first thing is I have on the wall a whiteboard, and this is the calendar. So this is the family calendar. Harry or Dad, Stuart could come along and they can write on this what's going on. So if they've took a phone call and they say, oh, we've got a dentist appointment or something like that, they can write on this. I haven't filled it out for what's going on, but I would normally, this would be absolutely full of things like craft club and things going on for the school, Easter holidays, that sort of thing. If you have a look, it's actually magnetic. And what I've done is I've got little bits of magnet, and I've got my sticker, and I've my label gun, and I've actually just put numbers on, so every month they can come off and be moved, rather than writing everyone in every month. Obviously we've got a bit of kids art, which is always a good place to put it, just in sight. So in this tub here I've got all the things that I need for organising. So we've got glasses, a cleaner, a cloth for wiping the board off, some cards, index type cards, hand gel, and then all the pens for the whiteboard. Okay, so they're all to hand there. I've also got in here, I've got like a pouch here, magnifying glass, but in this pouch is actually a tiny, I can't get it out, a tiny toolkit. So whenever we have to get batteries out of toys or stuff like that, that's what's in there. So that's always a useful thing to have really to hand, and obviously a phone or tablet charger as well. I've got a set of drawers here. We've got things like post-it notes, reading cards. I think there's a tub full of change, you know, all those little things that we don't really want to lose and we might just need to hand. In the file folder at the back here, then this is where I tend to put art and spellings from school and various things. And then here at the back, which I'm actually going to go through in a minute, I've got the family folder, and I'm going to go through that in a minute, so bear with. And then in this tray here, now it is always worth in this section having a tray where anything can get thrown, and as you can see, I haven't tidied it out totally. I've got tape measure and tools, all of them came out of my planner bag, which is, I've actually got a video on my planner bag, which I'll link below if you want to have a look at what that's all about. COVID tests in there, serviettes, a dress book, wet wipes, a notepad, I think some recipe books, weekly planner, all sorts of things. And I don't know if you can see, let me see if I can get to show you. Actually, in this tray I have like a white plastic container, and the reason I've put that in there is because my son likes Lego. In fact, there is Lego in here, look. And Lego has lots of little bits, so what I tend to do is if I put that white in there, then the Lego doesn't get thrown out all over the place, particularly if there's coins or pins or whatever through here. Then underneath I've just got a bookcase full of recipe books and all those sorts of things. Okay, so you've had a look at my command centre now. So these are the other two things that I use. So we'll start with this one, which I mentioned earlier. So this is the home command center file. So this is the file that everybody can look at, and it holds all the really important information. So contact details, phone numbers, important documents, that sort of thing, as well as some checklists and those. So what this is it's a A4 binder. It's not a binder as such, it's one of these plastic folder plastic leaf, what would you call it? Let me just think. Anyway, it's full of Polly Pockets, that's the word I was looking for. Oh dear. Polly Pockets, so it's full of these sort of plastic Polly Pockets. They call them display books, I think, and I had this one with the moon and that out of Wilkinson's. And so what I've got in here, the first thing, it's not completed, and it actually says 911, whereas ours is actually here in the UK 999, but I just printed that out just as an example of something that you could put in right at the beginning. So you could put things like your address, phone numbers. So if you've got a babysitter or somebody who comes into the house regularly and they need your contact details, they're all there at the front of the folder, and you could say that folder at the front for all the contact details. I've then got a list of everyone's birthdays by month and a spare birthday card, or actually it actually says celebrate on it, so you could use that for anything, your birthday, anniversary, but emergency card, I always know where one is. Okay, I've then got a password log sheet, which I've had to blur out a little bit because I just showed you all my passwords. But they're things like Asda, which is a supermarket, and Morrison's again supermarket. Most of these are supermarket by the look of them. Now TV. So you could write your website, the log on, email and the password, and it's there. So when your husband or your kid goes, oh mom, what's the password for this, because I can't remember, oh it's in that book, have a look yourself, or you can find it out. The next sections in here, then I have got the fly lady things. So I've put the commands and then a list of all the zones. I'll list the fly lady website down below, which I feel has really improved in the last few months, and it's also now on Android app, which helps as well. And then I've got a mum's back to school checklist. So this is things like after the school holidays or after your Easter or Christmas holidays, you could just quickly go down there and say, right, have I done any of this, just as a reminder of anything that you've got to do, because us busy mums, I really do think sometimes that I've got 3 heads and I can't think straight. Okay, so there's I've put that there. I've also got some spare sort of project planning sheets in there. I think the idea for that was any big projects we want to do for the house or garden, I've got a place for that, but I'm actually going to be putting that into an A5 binder, which I'm going to show you in a minute. I then also have the Christmas countdown. I know it says 2019 and we're in 22 now, but I did print this off a long, in 2019. But it's still sort of same thing. You start at the end of October. It's the same sort of thing rather than printing out those sort of things. Okay. And there's various checklists in there. Now the next section I've actually clipped together, and the reason is all of the stuff that's in this next section is confidential. But let me tell you what I've got in there. Okay, so I have the latest car MOT and servicing history for our car. Always have a quick reference of where that is and what dates those are. The next one is I have some health documents. Again, they're documents that need to know sometimes at short notice or where they are and that sort of thing. What's that one? I don't know. Car health. Some finance documents. I then have some homeschool log-on documents which we had during the first lockdown, and I kept all that in. Again, log-on details, and then these I can show you. So that's all the sort of information you need to keep at short notice that anybody needs to know, so you can direct them to this. It's the same as the Fly Lady stuff. I mean, you could actually use this as a control journal as they suggest that you use it, and you could tick these off with your marker pen, your whiteboard marker, and wipe them clean. It would work just as good. What I've also put in here is there's a leaflet for a train journey in North Wales that I might decide I want to do one day. So holiday leaflets, holiday information, things that one day you might want to do. And I've also got some Lego instructions for one of the current things that Harry was building. Again, a document that needs quick access. Then again, I've clipped these together because the document that is there is actually my son's birth certificate. And you could, again, you could put your birth certificates, you could put marriage certificates or copies of those certificates in here, again for quick access, for sending out, etc. And then I've also put a road map scavenger hunt in here for when we go on holiday. I printed 2 or 3 out, and obviously you only use 1 per holiday, so I put the extras in here. This file is quite universal. If you think documents that everybody needs to look at, documents that you need quickly, information, telephone numbers, log-ons, that sort of thing, that's what we need. That's what's in here. It's why it's accessible. So that's like for everybody. This then is my home planner. If you've watched my great big stack, my home planner was actually in a pink sort of sequiny thing, and it was lovely in there, and I was using it, and then I've stopped. And anybody who's been planning for a while will know that when you stop planning, there's normally a reason why you've gone into that. Maybe it's because you've run out of time, it's not easy, it's not pretty enough, it's not functional enough. There's a whole range of reasons why you suddenly stop using a planner. And as it's April, I personally am going through a bit of a reboot of my planners, and I will be having a video coming out about what that looks like. I was going to wait till July to do a recap of my great big planner stack. However, I think it's going to be coming this month. So let's have a look. I've set this up, I think it was yesterday actually. So this planner I had from Primark at the beginning of the year, and I just like the rainbows on the front, and it does say 2022 planner, and if I want to use this in years to come, I could cover that up with a sticker or something, or I could just leave it, it doesn't matter. And it's got pockets, and I can't remember whether I've actually done a review on this and how I set this up. I think I set this up for part of the budget planning series I did. However, obviously I'm now not using it for that. So there's just the pocket in the front, which I've just put a few sort of homey stickers in there, and there's also a calendar just tucked into there. Bit of cardstock that's been laminated, just a bit pretty, and then I put key dates and an overview at the front. And then when I set up my other planner before I came into this, I set a few of the sheets up which I've put over. So the first one being having a look, thinking about the home and the next year and things I wanted to do each quarter. And again, if you've watched my Kanban video, you'll know that I start my quarters in February. So we're now into April. So this box here, we're still sort of doing. I have done the bedroom. I haven't done any of the others. I did have a go at kickstarting the Fly Lady Baby Steps, and I didn't get very far with that. But some of the steps really did stick, such as cleaning my sink and hot spots and things. So not fully successful, a little bit, you know, but there's still the rest of April to go. However, I've got a lot of things going on this month. So I went down and I thought about the house, things that are coming up. For instance, in quarter 3 it'll be the back to school prep and the summer holidays, so I'll obviously be project planning and stuff like that. And then come the last quarter, which has got Christmas in, it's all about Christmas planning and 2023 planning. As the year goes on and these have or haven't been done, or the priorities change, I will add extra things into there. And then what I also then did was I set up one for every month. So the different events and different, I'll put some tasks on there, and ideas for March of the 40 bag challenge in 40 days that I would like to do. There's a Wonderwall Easter break coming up and that sort of thing. So I just went through page per month, just you know, somewhere to add tasks, things that need to be done. So for instance, on here you could put when the car needs its MOT or servicing. In some countries you change your wheels on your car, so that could go in here, all of that sort of thing. Okay, I've then got a calendar of the school holidays. Obviously with a mum of a 6.5-year-old, he's in year 2 here in the UK, so I always need a handy list of when the holidays are and when they're coming up. I've got a rough idea, but it's always nice to have those written down. And then I've under the planner section, now I might change these tabs. The notes and today will probably stay, the planner bit will stay, but the goals, not sure. I don't know whether goals is the right word to use for what I would like to put behind them, so we'll see. I probably will change that. So I've got a spare one of these calendars, and the idea here, I haven't done it yet, is to use this for menu planning. I did this in the other planner. I was doing this really well. I came into this every Tuesday. I'd look at this and I'd go, right, what have I got in the fridge? We can eat that then. What have I got in the freezer? We'll eat that then. And then from that menu I would then write the shopping list, and I just sort of fell off the wagon, you know, just stopped doing it. Haven't wasted a lot of food, if I'm honest, and everything is been ticking on, you know, and working. But maybe that's why I stopped using it, because I didn't need to, because everything was working well. Does anybody else have that? When systems and things start working well, you don't use the systems that you set up in the first place to get them working. Does that make sense? If that doesn't make sense, let me know. If it does make sense, yeah. The other thing I could put on here is tasks that I want to do. So if I was really focusing on the home, then this is where I would come and write out, today I want to do this, today I want to do that, and do the planning in here, and then that would go into my everyday planner, my weekly planner. So, I'm going to work on home on that day, etc. And that goes right up to July. So I'm not sure whether I've got the other half of that calendar somewhere else, which I probably have, or whether it does only go up to July. So we'll see. And there's a 2023 overview, and then if there's anything coming up for 2023 I need to make a note of. So for instance, when the car has been MOT'd for this year, I can then come in here at the back of 23 and write in when it's due, because I've got the certificate in my hand, and then the certificate would then go into here in case somebody else needs to know. Okay. So under the goals bit, I've just put quad paper, so the squared paper. I'm thinking that this would be the projects pages for the house. So depending on how big the room is, so for instance I'd probably do the bathroom being the smallest room in the house, I'd just use one page. But the living room, and I know there's a lot got to happen in the living room because we want to decorate, we want new carpets and that sort of thing, I would need 2 pages. So the plan is, as always, to put living room across the top, and then brainstorm, and then finally make that task list. And then I've got, lots of pages in there for projects, so I could do one for each room. I could have the garden put in there as well, so if there's things happening with the garden, if you're moving house, this would be a good place to put those sort of tasks. If you've got 2 houses, maybe you'd have 2 sections, so if you've got a holiday home or a caravan, you could have one section for address number 1, and you could have another section for address number 2, because you'll have 2 living rooms and 2 bathrooms and all of those sort of things. So then the next section is a to-do list, and that is exactly what it is. It's a to-do list, and anything I've just scribbled down, and I've got some pages from other planners and things that, home actions, and an old list which I need to go through and just check it off. Again, lots more lists in there. And then under notes, again, very plain, very boring, just some free paper. Now what I have taken out of the front of this is a load of loose papers that were in the old planner, which I want to go through and put into here. I'm not going to do that today, but what I tend to do when I have scrappy bits of paper or brain dump stuff is let me explain. If I've done a brain dump, so for here I've got a piece of paper and I put writing on one side, I put home on another, and so I've taken all the information off the writing side, so I've now put that list into the home, ready to put that information into this planner. And if I hadn't, I'd take the home stuff off there, put it into here, and then I'd take my writing, that piece of paper would then end up in my writing journal to update that. I hope this helps. I hope if you're thinking of setting up a planning system for your home, if all you do is your command center where there is somewhere to record things that everybody can see, that would be the minimum, if I was honest. I've then got somewhere else this planner here for future months. So on my whiteboard I've actually only got April. Well, the rest of the months are then in here and in my yearly planner. So I would pull the information from that to update my whiteboard, and in here is just the planning of menus and what I want to do to each room as I decorate and change carpets and all of those sort of things. If your house is perfectly painted or it's a brand new house, I always think if you own property there's always something to do, whether it's brand new, whether it's 100 years old, you know, whether you've just had it or it's just ready for sale, there is always something to do when you own property. I really do think, even if you rent property, there's still stuff that needs to be done, bills to pay. Now if I pay the bills, because my husband deals with all the finances where the house is concerned, this is another place that you could put all your finances for the household expenses, your shopping expenses, all of that. This is the sort of place you could put it. And then this goes back with my planner stack, and then this will go into the command centre. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe. I've had quite a few new subscribers and I'm so appreciative that you want to come and see what I'm doing and what I'm up to. I just love this whole YouTube process, etc. I just love it. So I will see you soon. Okay, bye.